watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. We are on the road to the critical election season of 2022, which will set the tone for the 2024 general elections. 2014 and 2019 saw a decisive saffron sweep. As the Modi-Shah juggernaut continued to expand the BJP's political empire, the Congress has been pushed to the fringe of the political spectrum. Along with the turf wars in its state units, unstable regional alliances, rebellious party veterans and exodus of young Turks, the party is struggling to hold its position as the prime challenger to the Modi regime as its influence and reach dwindles in the critical states and at the national level. However, ahead of another political stress test, speculation is rife of a major rejig of the party infrastructure and party structure within. Sonia Gandhi met former Union Minister and former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Kamal Nath amidst speculation that he may be chosen as the next Congress working president. At the same time, ahead of the Punjab elections, speculation is rife that after meeting both Priyanka and Rahul Gandhi, Navjot Singh Sidhu may be picked by the High Command to head the party's state unit. But reports suggest that this has led to Captain being upset and is likely to escalate the power tussle between the two leaders in the state. Meanwhile, the Gandhis have held a series of meetings with political strategist Prashant Kishore, armed with successes of both the TMC and DMK's impressive performances in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. He also recently held a meeting with Sharad Pawar, and now Mamata Banerjee has said she will visit Delhi soon, raising more speculation of an anti-saffron front in the making, with Prashant Kishore playing a key role. There are also reports that he may be given a top position in the Congress. So what is the road ahead for the Congress? Is it finally taking the leadership crisis seriously and taking decisive action after dragging its feet? Will we see the Congress High Command put out other fires in state units, placate veterans and young leaders, and delve deeper into framing a wider strategy to take on the BJP? Are we closer to seeing a Congress that has ended its struggle for revival? Joining me on the show, Pawan Verma, former MP, author and ex-diplomat; Neeti Jain, spokesperson of the BJP; Gaurav Gogoi, Member of Parliament of the Congress; Neerja Chaudhary, political analyst; Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist. Gaurav, what's evident now is that Rahul Gandhi is unwilling to take on the role of the Congress president. The current Congress president, Sonia Gandhi, isn't keen on continuing beyond 10th August, when she will be completing 2 years as the interim Congress president. Then when will the Congress decide to hold elections, and can this indecision continue?
Well, Maria, first of all, when we use the word unwilling in the context of Rahul Gandhi ji, I kind of beg to differ, because Rahul Gandhi ji has been very proactive in leading the Congress to raise our voice when it comes to price rise, COVID, and what's happening on our borders. In fact, he's the only national leader who is advising this government to be much more cautious and to be much more alert about the national issues. Now, so when it comes to, when there's a term like unwilling, I beg to differ. Sonia Gandhi ji has been extremely receptive to all the concerns of various state units, some of which that you mentioned in your opening remarks. And you're right that she holds the position of interim president. And you're also right that the Congress had put in place a very stringent schedule for organizational elections, which we were all looking forward to in the months of June and July. But obviously, when there is COVID, it is but natural to assume that holding organizational elections right now.
Is there some confusion about the road ahead? Or is there no understanding only that Congress will be able to take on the BJP? Or are you just waiting for things to happen?
There doesn't seem to be a confusion, Maria. It's very clear that, from where I sit, from what I see, I see a very a careful and calibrated approach for the different regional parties of the UPA and for the Congress party to come together and be prepared for 2020-24. I've noticed the remarks of various regional party leaders. I've noticed the remarks of our leaders as well. And I feel that, we're slowly building towards a very careful and in a very calibrated manner a national alliance to take on the BJP and its allies in 2024. So the road ahead for 2024 is very
And
clear.
then in that case,
And
you
yes,
are actually saying that the Congress will be leading this regional Satraps alliance.
sorry, you have to repeat the question.
So the Congress will be leading this anti-opposition, anti-Modi alliance, the opposition alliance.
See, every party which is part of this alliance has its strengths. Congress will have to play a central role, but every regional party, every regional leader also have their own unique set of strengths. And I'm sure the Congress party will play the central role in facilitating a common consensus on a common platform.
Okay, so since we have seen a number of meetings that have taken place in the last 48 hours, to decode those two meetings, I am being joined by Rashid and Pawan Verma. Rashid, coming to you first, you have written that Mr. Kamal Nath, the former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, is all set to become the next working president of the Congress party. What exactly is the formula that is being worked out?
I think, Maria, the worst for the Congress is over in the sense that indecision, indecisiveness, inactivity, leadership crisis. I think Congress for last 48 hours been looking for various options. It seems that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is reluctant to return as 87th president of the AICC. There was a logic in his resignation and nothing has changed. So I agree with him in the sense that, while he represents the political leadership of the Congress party, he may not take the mantle of leadership formally. And there is a lot of technicalities which cannot be explained on television. Perhaps in December 22, he will be in a position to contest a full-fledged election of the Congress president. So the party is working for a plan. Mr. Kamal Nath comes in because he has got a lot of experience. He's a man for all seasons. He's been 9-time parliamentarian, he's never left the Congress. And his support base, his friends across, the party lines and ideological divide. Mr. Pawan Verma can dwell upon that much better than me. So here is a man who's very much pragmatic and practical, and he's loyal and he's efficient. Let's see what happens next.
Okay. So, Kamal Nath is a man of all seasons. Mr. Pawan Verma, can we say what's evident on the surface with the entire Gandhi family meeting Prashant Kishore has been in the works for quite some time?
Well, I can share with you that these talks have been going on. Prashant Kishore has worked earlier with the Congress. He is well known to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and, of course, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka. So they have been in touch and there are talks. But I think what you need to understand is not the micro picture, but the macro picture. The macro picture is as follows. Even in its worst performance, Maria, the Congress got some 20% of the vote. Both in 2014 and 2019, and some 12 crore voters voted for the Congress party. The Congress also is a party with a pan-Indian footprint. So while the regional parties will have an important role to play, Chanakya in the Arthashastra speaks of the theory of concentric circles. There is a central narrative and around it an equally important concentric circle of allies. So I think the macro picture is that a revival of the Congress, which incidentally, if you look back to our freedom movement and the formative years of our republic, is a national institution. So you must go also beyond personalities or individuals. The Congress is a brand.
Okay.
It stood for certain ideals and a certain idea of India.
Okay.
Its resurrection or its rejuvenation or its revival into becoming an effective electoral and ideological body is an important development on its own in any democracy where, if nothing else, you need a strong opposition.
Yes.
So what is happening in the Congress today is a rethink about how to proceed further. In this picture, individuals and personalities will have a role to play, but the far bigger question is, what happens to this national institution?
Okay. Okay, since you raised that larger question that it's not about personalities or individuals, but the larger picture, Neerja Chaudhary, but we are looking at individuals here. Because One thing that was repeatedly talked about in the context of the Congress is that here is the Congress which is facing infighting. There's no clarity in leadership. And and also Congress's woes have been compounding as well. So my question is, can a rank outsider in Prashant Kishore be that person who can play that role which is needed in revival, and what will be the permutation combination that will be working out with Kamal Nath and others for that revival that is needed?
Look, can I answer it in two parts?
Please go
One,
on,
the Prashant Kishore question, which I will come to. But before that, for the last 26 months, which is almost halfway into this term, there has been a leadership crisis in the Congress. What you are saying today, Sonia Gandhi, not well. Sonia Gandhi, reluctant to accept the leadership. She had to because there was nobody else or that was decided to be the interim president. Rahul Gandhi, reluctant or unwilling. I go along with what Gaurav Gogoi has said, don't use the word unwilling because he has been playing his role. But that it has been a headless organization. The crisis is of leadership. And if you're today going on to address that, it's a very welcome development because in recent months, recent weeks, there is growing dissatisfaction in the country. There's growing anger in the country in a state like Uttar Pradesh and some other parts of the country with the handling of the second wave of COVID. The BJP is getting its act together. Hours and hours and hours of mashwara and brainstorming. How do we put things right? The Congress is where it was. Ad hoc decision making. You have Navjit Sidhu running circles around the leadership. You have the possibility of a deputy CM coming up in stable Chhattisgarh.
Yes.
Where problems don't exist in Punjab. Everybody was saying till 2 months ago the Congress is going to come back to power. They're not saying that today. So given that, now, so I welcome that if the Congress is moving towards, sorting out whoever the leader. Secondly, Prashant Kishore. I found it quite upsetting to see this visage of the three Gandhis with Prashant Kishore. It is as if there is a bankruptcy of leadership in this grand old party of India. There's bankruptcy of ideas. There's bankruptcy of strategy making. You have Prashant Kishore is a whiz kid. He has caught on to something which is going to be the trend of the future, which is the use of the new media for political electioneering and winning elections, getting feedback from the ground level, which some parties are unable to do, of what the public is thinking. And therefore, you revise your talking points, like with Nitish Kumar, you did, Sushasan Babu keep him in the front, put Alalu in the background because he has a negative image also. So those kind of things that he's been doing. But I would say Prashant Kishore was, the party had met together, the apex committee of the party had met together and brainstormed and come up with the idea, 5 points of which we will reach out to Prashant Kishore to handle our new media. No problem. But if you were saying we don't have the ideas, we are now getting this whiz kid, what is the image you're giving across? Suppose you have...
I take that An's question to Pawan Verma and he'll respond to it. Neeti, a quick word from you because you have to make your opening comments also on the debate. The Manthan culture that was there, part of the Congress, came to the BJP, and this Manthan culture is continuing even now. Even on the question of the cabinet reshuffle. We saw multiple rounds of meetings at the Prime Minister's residence, and the feedback mechanism was very robust. You should be feeling happy that efforts are being made for revival of the principal opposition in the country. A robust opposition is the need of the hour.
I should be very happy about that, Maria, because as a citizen of this country, I've always maintained the country needs a strong opposition. But this effort has been going on for really long now, and I don't know if they would
do any consensus this time, but if they do, that's good for them. The point is that except for Neerja ma'am, I think nobody else is even trying to accept what the problem is. That said, all of this is an internal matter of Congress. I don't want to comment on it because there's a quotation that goes that when your enemy is making a mistake, don't interrupt them. So I really don't want to interrupt them. All I want to say is that when Mr. Gogoi said that Rahul Gandhi comes out and he is playing the role of an opposition, sir, you come from a party that is unable to handle their own government in the limited states that you are in. And every morning, Rahul Gandhi wakes up and tells us how to run the country when we are the party that was voted in power with, an amazing number of seats. And we still have the support of the people. We are still talking about development. We're still talking about making things better and not about scams.
Okay.
So
Here is the BJP, Gaurav Gogoi, making the point that the Congress appears to be jaded. That is the truth. It appears to be tired. And its repeated failures in states have given that, impression to the cadres also. Do they really have a formula? BJP is managing to put you on the margins. Your own allies have given the impression that you are a liability. In many states, you have become a junior partner in alliances. My question is, can you continue to wait? This impression that you can be waiting for power to fall in your lap, perhaps, a sense of entitlement is there in the Congress party and the leadership.
Maria, I must say, and assertively so, without making any personal remarks, but I do believe that the media is tilted in its coverage of BJP's internal discussion vis-a-vis the Congress's internal discussion. Now, you just had a government in Uttarakhand which had to go for a third chief minister. In 5 years, there have been 3 chief ministers in Uttarakhand. You have a state in Uttar Pradesh where at one point of time, close to 150 MLAs wrote against the Uttar Pradesh chief minister. You have a chief minister's concern in Karnataka. You have a chief minister's concern in Himachal. Even in Gujarat, in the prime minister's home state, the chief minister is being threatened by rivals within his own party. So let us first say that, there are internal discussions and individuals' opinions in both the BJP and the Congress, but the media is tilted in its coverage. You will not have a discussion on a national show, the national prime time about the internal politics of the BJP.
We did not one but multiple shows, Gaurav. So I'm not too sure, saying things to the media will help. I'm just saying that can the Congress leaders, such as you, who are seen as hopes in their respective states, continue to wait for the leadership to take a call?
The second point is, if you see what are the issues affecting the country right now, we just had the COVID second wave. You know the scenes in Delhi, Maria. Who was the most active political front? It was the Youth Congress. Even the Indonesian embassy had to reach out to the Youth Congress. You know about China. The Congress party has been talking about the threat that China plays on our borders, and we've been doing that. You know about the economy as well. C. Chidambaram just had a press conference talking about prices at the time of COVID. So when it comes to the opposition, now what is the main role of the opposition? The main role of the opposition is to check the excesses of the ruling government and to ensure that the people of India have a voice when they feel that the government is not heeding to them. And I think Congress party has been alive to the concerns of the people of India. We might not be getting electoral benefits. But again, even if you look at the states that went to elections this year, even though the Congress party itself did not win, but in Assam, we held on to our vote share. In Bengal, we didn't do well, but a UPA ally won. In Kerala, we didn't do well, but we had a significant vote share and a UPA ally won.
You are being pushed to the margin, not only by your political opponent, but also within your allies. In the alliances also, you are increasingly becoming a junior partner. Pawan Verma, you wanted to make an intervention. Go ahead, please.
No, I don't think, with great respect to Nirja, that it is in some form of a unilateral flow of ideas from one to the other. I'm talking between Prashant Kishore and the Gandhi family. I think it's a dialogue. And the dialogue's main focus is how do we take the right steps to fully rejuvenate, restructure, and revitalize the Congress party. And I believe, unless anyone on the panel disagrees with this, that's good for the nation. The BJP has its own Atma Chintan and Manthan workshops. Unless it is apprehensive about the revival of the Congress, it should have no objections to the fact that the grand old party, which led India to freedom and for decades stood for what the idea of India should be, and even today is the counter to all ideas which are inimical to the foundational tenets of the Republic. If it seeks to see what can be done to rejuvenate itself, I don't see what's the problem here. It could be Prashant Kishore, it could be other instrumentalities and modalities, but the attempt itself is laudable. You have to understand that.
Okay, so it's about the attempt, not as much as personalities, as you just said, Pawan Verma. Go ahead, Neerja.
No, but a very simple point in response to Pawan Verma. It is the politics of the optics which BJP is so good at. What is it what is the optics, what is it conveyed to you? There is already a crisis of leadership. As I said, 26 months, you are not able to decide who's going to be the president of this grand old party of India. And then you call on Prashant Kishore and you have Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, and you rope in even Sonia Gandhi. The big huddle. Can you imagine? An analogy would be if Mr. Narendra Modi, Mr. Amit Shah, Mr. JP Nadda, after the defeat in West Bengal, called Prashant Kishore, please help us. What is the optics? What is the message, political messaging that you will give? As I said, if it's one of the 5 things that you're doing, and I expect there'll be many more Prashant Kishores in the coming weeks and months, because that is a need. That is the way things are going.
Okay.
It is the kind of messaging.
Just a quick rejoinder.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Verma.
Just a quick rejoinder. No, there it does not exclude many more Prashant Kishores. May every Congress worker also in this process, as an objective observer, I can say for now, if it develops the abilities to strategize for the reawakening of the party, it's a good thing. As far as the optics are concerned, Prashant Kishore began his career as the chief strategist for Mr. Narendra Modi. He lived in his house for 2.5 years. He ran the 2014 campaign. And it is well known how much in control of that campaign he was. So I don't think we should pass hasty judgments on these matters.
Okay.
This is a democratic dialogue, but it is superseded, Maria, by the far more important goal that in a democracy you need a strong opposition party with a coherent national footprint and a vision for the nation as a whole.
Okay. Rashid, will you say that the Congress now is actually giving some serious thought about its future? That's why we are hearing, about these meetings. Of course, there's a lot of speculation about all these meetings, but there is an indication that the Congress is now worried about where it is going wrong, what it is lacking, and how they will fix their house.
Maria, there are several things which are very clear. First of all, the 3 Gandhis, they seem to be, trustees of power. They are not power wielders. In electoral politics, success defines everything. I do not know why Neerja ji is saying that, Prashant Kishore is not political enough. He's been successful. He's been vice president of JDU or whatever what it was. And see, he has as much as the chance to dabble in politics as Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was, as Sonia Gandhi was. Sonia Gandhi was not even a Char-Ana member of Congress party in 1991 when the office of Congress president was offered to her in a platter. Mr. Naveen Patnaik, and there's so many people. I'm not talking about Sam Pitroda and others who have been, very, key players in internal Congress politics. So this has not been there. It is success. Success defines everything.
Okay, all right.
And, it is eluding the Congress. So Congress is within its rights to try all the formulas.
On that note, success defines everything, and that is certainly eluding the Congress. I'll end this discussion. Thank you so much, Gaurav, Pawan Verma, Neerja, Rashid and Niti Jain. Of course, this discussion will be continuing because we are seeing a lot of movements take place, a lot of talks around the Congress party and its future. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.